White House correspondent Emerald Robinson down in our nation's capital. USA Strong Executive Director Erin Elmore is back with us, and our constitutional attorney Amir Benno. Amir, I can finally say our. I've been saying it for the last 3 months anyway, but you belong to us now, and we're never letting you go. So welcome to the Newsmax family. A woman that traveled by bus to North Carolina with her kids from Texas. She tested positive. She said a reporter had a microphone in her face, and she said, I wasn't symptomatic. There are no rules down on the border right now if you are not a citizen of the United States.
It's really sick that Joe Biden thinks that there are different rules for different people. And by the way, if someone on the right called someone on the left Neanderthal, let's get one thing straight. We can't even read Dr. Seuss without being called racist.
Right.
He can call people Neanderthals, and that's completely acceptable. This has reached a crazy level of bias and inappropriateness. Yes, these people are coming into our country illegally. People say that, Joe Biden tried to say that people couldn't even go into Florida because there was a new variant. And by the way, this pandemic needs to be over. It needs to be over. I understand that people are sick and no one should die and no one should be sick. But the only way that we are going to get back as a country up and running is to protect ourselves if we aren't feeling well or we have underlying conditions. It's time to open our economies. This has been going on for a year. And I assure anyone that thinks that they should still be locked down, there's going to be COVID 20, 21, 22. This isn't the last pandemic because the Democrats love control.
Yeah.
And I do want to touch on.
Well, that's the point. I'm in Pennsylvania right now, but Florida's been open for basically a year. Yeah. So the people are still about these lockdowns. It has been over a year. Florida, if you come down to Florida, it is virtually normal. To say Texas is reopening, Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida, Georgia, these states have been open for almost a year, and California has been shut for almost a year, and the numbers virtually the same. So to say that states are finally reopening, a lot of these red states have been open for a year now.
Amir, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, the point is that you don't need the state, you don't need the government to tell you, what you need to do. People can use their own sensibilities. And
I really want to know who's pulling the strings, who's the puppet master. As Emerald said, this has gone on for far too long. And you know what I think will end up happening is someone within this administration, someone in the White House is going to eventually say, okay, this isn't safe for America anymore. They're going to explain to us exactly what is going on. Anyone that says President Biden doesn't have cognitive decline has never experienced cognitive decline. I've seen it with grandparents, family members. This is a scary situation. And to be honest, maybe someone should say to Dr. Jill or some of his children, what you're doing to your father and your husband, this isn't right. Because we have a country to run, and it's not happening right now. Poor Jen Psaki, as you said, for the first time, starting to feel bad for her. Things are really getting bleak. We don't know exactly what's going on in our country. We deserve better.
Yeah, it's a great point about Joe Biden, too. It's like elder abuse. Amir, I'll give you the final thought.
Yeah, I'll just say that in addition to the press briefings, typically in February or the beginning of March, we have a State of the Union.
USA Strong Executive Director Erin Elmore, and the host of Stacey on the Right, Stacey Washington, and also our constitutional attorney, Amir Benno. Amir, you're surrounded by a bunch of that theme, especially right now.
Well, what bothers me is the virtue signaling and the identity politics. I mean, I am a woman, but I would rather get a job because of my credentials. I want to be looked at because of my resume. I don't want to get special treatment because I am a woman. I think that the way we progress as a society is we let ourselves, yes, express who we are as women and men, but hey, we have credentials. I don't think anyone should get a job because they are the first transgender, they are the first Irish American, they are the first Hispanic American, they are the first African American. I think we should all be valued because we are successful and be successful because we've worked hard for it.
Erin, I think you make a great point.
It's never that I've been applauded or promoted because of my gender.
Speculating. Is this just a way to cover the fact of the nursing home scandal, get that off the topic, give somebody else something else to talk about in something that's not necessarily life-ruining? These accusations, they are bad, of course, but they're not in the same category as a lot of different people we've seen over the past couple of years being taken down by the Me Too movement.
And that's what I was about to say to Amir, my colleague over there, that I agree with him wholeheartedly. Where was this sort of patience and deference with Brett Kavanaugh? It certainly didn't exist. I do believe that these sexual assault allegations should be taken seriously. Yes, everyone deserves due process, but this is just a way to say we've held his feet to the fire on something so they can allow the nursing home scandal to be ignored. Now, let me tell you, it will not be ignored because the New York AG, she is going to take this seriously. And by the way, it's not for altruistic intentions. She wants to be governor next. So she is going to get him out of the way so she can pave the way for herself. But in this position, yeah, there she is. But let me tell you something. She is doing this for her own gain. I don't care why she's doing it. Let her investigate. Let's see what happened. These people that lost people in nursing homes deserve to have answers. Here we go. Buckle up because it's going to get serious in the state of New York.
And the nursing home controversy, of course, not just women, men and women, affecting so many families.
Was today's Psaki Dodge. Jen Psaki speaking there in the briefing room yesterday. I want to welcome back our panel this morning. We start with USA Strong Executive Director Erin Elmore.
There are other people who are governors who have done the same things that Cuomo did. They sent sick patients who were elderly back into nursing homes, and significant numbers of people died. So Cuomo is the one that they sacrifice on the Barbie. The other governors get off scot-free, and that's the real story here.
Erin, your thoughts?
You know, I agree with Stacey completely. And now we know exactly why Cuomo got an Emmy. That
Right.
performance that he gave was Emmy worthy. And just like actors and celebrity that have no sincerity, that's what he showed there.
Good
I'm
point.
sorry. If. And that's all he said was if. And I do believe, as Stacey said, that there are other governors, like in my home state of Pennsylvania and New Jersey, that have done the same thing. They're just sitting there saying, all right, let's let Cuomo be the fall guy here.
Yeah.
But I believe that they are using these women. They say believe all women. And right here, you know what? They kind of are. They are backing these women because you know why? It's easier to let these women be the sacrificial lambs than him to go down for these 15,000 deaths in nursing homes. And
Such
it's
a good
really
point.
sad. And these are both serious issues. Let's not just let it be the women. Let's also tackle the nursing home issue because Cuomo deserves all of it.
Hey, I want to move on to another topic, but as an attorney, a constitutional attorney, Amir, do you think that Cuomo has sort of set a trap for himself here with what he was saying yesterday?
Well, it never helps when somebody who's a subject of criminal investigations and an attorney general investigation runs his mouth about something without his attorney being there. So that certainly can't help him.
Sending the wrong message because the goal is ultimately to take the mask off, get America vaccinated, get life back to normal. Some state had to do it. Why not let it be Texas? Erin, question for you. This is developing and it could become a much bigger story that affects millions and millions of Catholics here in the United States and Catholics throughout the world. Johnson & Johnson, that vaccine was just approved and now bishops are weighing in on whether or not Catholics here in the U.S. should be taking this Johnson & Johnson one-shot vaccine because apparently it was made using abortion-derived cells. One Catholic bishop said the vaccine was now morally compromised and that Catholics should look to other available vaccines. Your thoughts?
Wow. That's all I have to say. I think this is highly personal. I think that we need to ask. This is the one time when I would say to the doctors, can you explain this to me? If I was a person of faith and if I was very serious about this, I would say, please explain to me exactly how this was derived, because I have heard conflicting reports from doctors saying that it wasn't derived from fetal tissue. To me, this is something I have no opinion on. I don't want to touch it. I personally think if this is your faith, you got to consult your doctor, consult your God, and figure out what makes the most sense for you, because everyone has, this is a free country. As far as I see it, this is still a free country. If you want to do something, you got what's best for you. I don't think the government should tell you. I think that's between you and God.
Stacey, I'll give you the final thought. I should mention that Pope Francis, by the way, was vaccinated with the Pfizer vaccine not long ago.
Not new aborted fetal cells, but if you are a person of the Catholic faith, which I'm not, I'm an evangelical, Bible-thumping, gun-toting Christian. But if you're a Catholic, the Pope's statement on that means you need to take one of the other vaccines. So I agree with Erin. Talk to your doctor about it, but most importantly, do your own research and figure out what the Bible says and compare it to what you're planning on doing.